Before I start, I would just like to recall one Sanskrit sloka. Shishurveti Pashurveti Veti Ganam Lasam Fanihi. So even kids, the animals, the snakes, everybody enjoys the music. I think my day is made by whoever the two artists they were here. It was excellent. We had our own refreshing memories. So I would like to thank both the artists for their wonderful performance. So I will be talking about the Indian Space Odyssey, how India has progressed from a small phase of sounding rockets to the phase where we have landed on the moon and now aiming for the sun. And before that, I would like to really congratulate and thank the organizers of Avotech 2023. One is, of course, it is bringing various technologies together. That is one part. But more importantly, there is a noble aim behind this mission, Mission 1000, for which they want to support, and that's how this whole event is conceived. So I would like to really thank and compliment the organizers of Avotech 2023 for this wonderful initiative, and thank you, sirs, for making me part of this initiative. Okay, so I'll be just proceeding. Yeah. So before I start, actually, the Indian space program, it started with the vision of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai that it is for the purpose of a common man. So how do we benefit common man from the various programs of space and society? So that was the interest with which when it started, say 50 years back or so. So this is the basic aim. But subsequently, of course, India has progressed. Our prosperity has gone up. I think most of it, especially in the last 2 decades or so, due to the IT sector, so much of employment opportunities, so many middle class people or lower middle class families have become affluent and rich. I think that is mainly, at least my personal feeling is that it is due to the growth of IT sector. Earlier it was manufacturing sector based, but after IT sector, several middle class people could aim higher and reach higher. So, and most of the sessions in this particular conference are also aimed towards all the advanced technologies in the field of information technology. So that's also one of the happiest things for me. But the prosperity which this has brought to India, and India is becoming slowly a growing economy, has allowed us to take higher initiatives and to move further than just aiming for common man or benefit, but go beyond that and try to set some ambitious goals like Mission Chandrayaan in future, Gaganyaan, and they will have some societal applications also, but both the things, I think this is what is what. So before I go into Chandrayaan directly, I think because some of you may be uninitiated, why at all we have to go to space? When things can be done on ground, why you have to go to space? So this is what I would like to tell, and I would like to explain in a way where people who do not know anything, I am not talking for the very high level of technologies, but for people who are little unaware or students like that. So first the advantage is, compared to you, I am standing at a height. So I can see all of you. Same thing, the first row, if you stand, you will not be able to see. So when you go to a higher height, you are able to get a larger coverage. So that is the basic advantage. Even if you see old these ones and all, watchtower in any city, there will be, or forts especially. Forts are as such on hills, and on that there will be watchtowers. From there they will be watching all around the city, who is coming, who is going, all that, or lighthouses. And in Bahubali also you can see, when so many enemies are there to destroy soldiers, what he does, some big carpet like thing where they will put some fire or whatever it is and reach it from a very height they will take and then spread. So the idea of going to a higher height is basically to get higher and higher coverage. And other is the obstacle free. When we go to marriages, we see drones and all. Earlier photographers used to come and tell, sir, you move this side, this side. Now drones have come. So there is no disturbance because there are no obstacles. When you want to observe from space, you are going much higher. So that is the advantage. And unaffected by natural disasters. Whatever may happen on earth, it could be an earthquake, it could be a calamity, it could be, say, floods. If you want to get the realistic situation, recently Canada forest fire was there. You cannot go into the fire and see what is the damage happening, but from a spacecraft you can observe without getting disturbed. and not restricted by borders. It's not that otherwise earlier all James Bond and all, now the era of James Bond and all that is gone, or very, very limited, because you are able to see what is happening in the enemy territory by viewing from space. And privacy and security. Any institution, if it is on the ground, any infrastructure, depending on the type of that is there, a person with one AK-47 or a group of people can come and attack. We have seen even the Pentagon also was trying to be attacked by one aeroplane or whatever it is. Okay, Twin Towers we have seen. So ground infrastructure is prone to attacks from few spirited individuals, but here it is not so easy to destroy an asset in the space, because of course there are like Mission Shakti we also demonstrated, but it needs the efforts from a big country or a big setup. So that is different from being vulnerable to attack from anybody who wants to attack. So that way the space assets offer a very good privacy as well as security aspects. And repeativity. Suppose there is something is happening, troop movement is there, you want to observe every day. Daily if you want to go and survey by road means, or even if by helicopter or something, if you go and survey, even drones you take, how many sorties you have to make, and you want to get hour to hour update, or you want to get a lot of continuous visibility. So it is not feasible, practical by means of terrestrial or even by aeroplane or helicopter like that. When space, when you go to 500 kilometers, 600 kilometers, and if you have some few number of satellites in different planes, then it is possible to have a continuous coverage. Or yesterday troops were here, today something is there, what happened, you want to go back and see. All those flexibilities are available by going into the space. What are the disadvantages? Nothing, no pains, no, everything will come with a price. So lesser clarity. You see, I can see more people, but I will see less features. Correct? So clarity will be less, resolution, the volume, everything will come down, and signal will be lost. As you are, unless I don't have this mic, the person there cannot be able to hear me. So unwanted signal along with wanted. As your coverage area is increasing beyond what you want, there is so much which we don't want, all that also will come to the spacecraft. And environmental effects. The space itself is having an environment which I will talk about, and cost, of course, when you want to do such things. But overall, if you see, instead of one spacecraft may cost few hundreds of crores or 1,000 crores, or even NISAR, which we are going to launch along with NASA together, ISRO NASA's mission, that costs 10,000 crores. And NASA has sent recently James Webb Space Telescope, that is the costliest mission on the space, that is 1 lakh crores. Okay. So this is the type of cost that will be there, but there are advantages also. The capabilities which otherwise are not there, you are able to get, and over 15 years if a satellite is there, and for 15 years if it is serving, the same thing if you want to do on ground, it will be much, much more expensive. So though an individual spacecraft cost may appear high, but there is a, when you really see the economics of it, it will be very sensible to go for space. So these are all the reasons because of which space technology is used. Then what are the applications? Is it only for watching sun and moon that we are having as Indian Space Research Organization? As I told, it is to benefit the common man and society. So where are all the things? So again here communications, when you take everything, the TV that you have watched yesterday using Dish TV or Tata Sky or whatever you are having, that is directly from satellite you are getting the things. Okay. Like that, audio communications, video, especially now data is everything. It is data driven world, correct? All half of your seminar is aimed towards data. Okay. So this data driven world. So how do you get data to inaccessible places, all those things? So communications, it will be very, very useful. Then comes the remote sensing. This is one which we directly you will not be knowing, but everything that is happening. How much of river water is there in India today if you want? Just take some satellite map of all the river belt, okay? See, you can estimate the amount of water that is there. If a river has dried up, you will come to know within few minutes how much has happened. Or forest fire, like I have told. From a remote, from a distance, we are sensing. And earth resources also. What is there at a particular place also, by keeping appropriate sensors, we can be knowing the things. and the ability to view areas not filling all, and observation of land and sea. I don't know how many of you know, fishermen when they are going, now they take help from satellite maps, because of which there is a ocean sat we are having. So you will be able to see which area the fish is more, because fish naturally wherever food is there, algae or whatever it is more, the fish will be going there. It is called fish schools. So all the fish will be going towards that. So fishermen will get that information from satellite map, and they can directly drive their boat towards that and get a better yield. Like this, there are so many advantages apart from strategic, of course, okay, which where the security forces for them, it is very, very important to observe the borders. So that is all the advantages of remote sensing. Then of course, all of you use GPS. Today nobody asks anybody how to go to one place, correct? So the GPS is global positioning system. There are a set of satellites only. Equivalent of Indian version is NAVIC satellites we are having. So it is totally complete navigation solutions, positioning, all those things are coming from spacecraft. And meteorology, every day we see in our earlier Doordarshan, okay, now also the globe you will see complete cloud coverage, where is the clouds, hudhud, whatever happened. Earlier when I was younger, Divisima and all some cyclones have come where 10,000 people, sometimes 1 lakh people also used to die in natural disasters. Today have you any time heard because of some cyclone or something, more than 5 people dying? Even that 5, if you really go and see, they would have not agreed to vacate the area, because state district authorities, they immediately go try to vacate the people, because you are getting advance warning of the disaster that is going to strike you. So the weather is very, very important. Actually in foreign countries, India it is less. First sentence they will ask is, how is the weather today? Okay. So they are very much worried about, because weather dictates everything that we are doing. So for that meteorology and disaster warning, these are the other applications, and observation free of atmospheric effects and terrestrial obstacles. Like yesterday Aditya we have sent. Why you have to go to space? You can as well see from, this is for the science. You can as well see from ground, so many telescopes are there, Kavalur is there, Kodaikanal is there, Udaipur Observatory is there. Why you are going to space? There are 2 advantages, 2 or 3 advantages are there. One is basically whenever in the atmosphere, why we see stars are twinkling, twinkle twinkle little star we say, that is because of the distortion. In the atmosphere it is getting absorbed and coming light, but if you go away the twinkle is not seen. If you go to space, atmosphere above if you go, you can see. Second is, what you see from ground is whatever is actually coming from sun, so much is absorbed by the atmosphere. So many electromagnetic spectrum if we take, I think most of you are technical people. So visible and radio waves only reach the earth. The X-rays, gamma rays and other observations in the other band of the electromagnetic spectrum is not coming onto the earth. Okay. So that is where it will go, it will help, space science will help, and of course planetary exploration, which we have talked about. Then what is a space system? Is it when we talk about space system, one is the transport segment. The rocket, that is the most attractive part in a space program, because that is we are seeing something lifting up so majestically and with tremendous noise it makes. So that is always interesting. So that is the launch vehicles, the rockets or whatever we call in a normal language. And the space segment, these rockets are there because you want to put something there high in the sky, okay, at 500 kilometers. That is for low Earth orbit. At 36,000 kilometers, I will come to that. So that's a space segment. And then the ground, the data that is coming has to be received on the ground and it has to be utilized. See, it will send a picture, but the picture has to be interpreted on the ground. So for that, there is a ground segment, the control center. The satellites have to be controlled. Launch vehicle, of course, there is no control. The only control that a launch vehicle commander has got is one button will be there. Kill your baby, okay. So if it is going beyond or the projected path, assume instead of going into the sea, towards the sea and then to the intended target, it is coming towards Chennai, you assume, from Sriharikota. He has to only press that kill button. That will destroy the launch vehicle. That is the only control he has got. Rest of the things. But spacecraft, unlike that, we will be able to control to some extent. And of course, the network, because satellite data has to be received. So this is the part of the ground segment. Then what makes space systems special? So I am not here to say that space is everything. I am the person who respects all the professions. Actually, if we really think, one of the greatest service was done during at least our childhood days was from the postal department. A postman, even today, I think in villages and all, with a bicycle, okay, he may be having whatever be the rain, shine, anything, whatever be the weather, he still goes and delivers. And those days we all used to write, or my mother used to give so many postcards to me to post, because we are aware from her near and dear. So all those things were, so there are so many departments which are doing a tremendous job. They may not be as glamorous as space, okay, but there is a tremendous this one, and they were not all that highly paid also. At the same time, there are so before I talk further, first of all, I would like to pay my respects to all of those people who are invisibly and silently working for the betterment of our country and for serving us. So now because the topic assigned to me is this, I have to continue and I have to tell what is difficulty in space or what is challenging in space. Okay, the unattended operation, as I told, the satellites, if they are there in space for 15 years they have to work without being attended to. Can you imagine driving a car? You assume fuel is continuously coming, you just assume, or it takes a 0 mileage. Somebody bright mind here has invented something because of which fuel is there, you assume. Can you drive it for 15 years without maintenance, non-stop, at say 100 kilometers per hour? Is it possible? Tire will wear out, correct, or bearings will start giving noise. By simple door, carpenter, if all of you, whoever has constructed a house, within 6 months you have to call carpenter again, correct, to fit all the bolts, all the door will not be latching, then he has to adjust. So all this will happen, but spacecraft has to work for 15 years without being attended, with tremendous powerful machines that are there. Some wheels are there which are running at 5,000 rotations per minute. For every minute, the wheel with so much of some 68 nms kind of angular momentum. So it will be heavy wheel. It will be running at 5,000 rotations per minute and non-stop for 15 years. The lubricant should not dry up, okay. It should not stop due to the simplest example I told is door. Can you see any door where without calling carpenter you can work it for even 2 years? Once winter comes, things will change, correct? So here, again extreme weather, solar panels if you are taking, they see minus 100 degrees centigrade and plus 100 degrees centigrade, continuously rotating, correct, for 15 years, okay. So multidisciplinary product, you name any branch of engineering that you know, any of your friends, anybody, all colleges, you take a list, make a list of all the engineering branches that are available, everything finds a space, application in space. Now with human space and all this, even space medicine itself is a branch, management, anything, accounts, finance, everything you take, it's a multidisciplinary product. And environment of space, okay, I will tell. And low volume production, okay, if you are making like mobile unit, if you are producing some tens of thousands of them or millions of them, then you can establish one system to make them very rugged. But here, how much time Aditya took? 8 to 10 years. 10 years you are working, this James Webb Space Telescope, they took from concept to the completion 40 years across 26 countries or so. So 40 years across different countries, different geographies, different work cultures, how to get the uniformity in the product, how do you see? So these are all the challenges. And volume, mass and power. You cannot put any type of product that you want. It is a fixed top, you will see some space. Within that only the spacecraft has to sit. Wherever Indian flag is there all around, within that, and it can lift only so much mass. We may be calling Bahubali, but this Bahubali has a limitation. So beyond 4,000 kg you cannot. Or some other PSLV, if you take beyond 2,000 kg you cannot. Okay. So how do you, all these constraints are there. Power, you have to generate within the required power, generated power, you have to manage the whole situation. Do you know the amount of power that a spacecraft, very powerful spacecraft for remote sensing takes? It will be 1 kilowatt. Your geyser is 2 kilowatts. Okay. So half of the power of electric geyser in your bathroom is powering some of the most powerful spacecrafts. Okay. So then you imagine the complexity, how the systems have to be low power consuming. So these are the constraints that you are having. Then of course components I have already explained, and environment. So I will just tell one example only. we have shifted from say from Rajaji Nagar to Rajarajeshwari Nagar. My son has gone to school. By afternoon, school principal has called, Madam, your son is very naughty. He is actually disturbing all the students around him, like that. She told, no, my son is a very lovely boy. In the previous school, he was very nice. Actually, all his school friends, they used to like him very much. Okay, then I don't know what happened. Actually, we shifted from Rajaji Nagar to Rajeshwar Nagar. Here our neighborhood children, whoever are there by my side and all house, they are all very naughty. He went to play with playground to them yesterday and all. So we joining them, he has become naughty. So this was my mother told to the principal. Don't worry, his father will come, we will tell and make him all right. Now evening this fellow has come back. Now he has gone to play along with the children who are there by my neighborhood, by my house, no, this side, that side. So all the boys went to play in the playground. After half an hour, like Krishna Yashoda, some people came and knocked my door. What, your boy is very naughty. He is disturbing all the other children in the playground. He is pulling that fellow's leg, this fellow's leg, like that. So what he is? No, my boy is very good. Actually, all children in our neighborhood, they used to like him very much. Only today he went to a new school here in Rajeshwar Nagar. The school student atmosphere, the environment in the school, I think is the one which has spoiled. So why I am telling you is, this is the influence of environment on any behavior of any product. So it is very important that we understand the environment under which the system is working. So for spacecraft, there is apart during launch, because the rocket is so powerful and it is going with such a tremendous energy upwards. So there will be vibrations, there will be acoustics. The sound you hear from whatever you capture in the mic is at 10 kilometers or so from the launch site. There if you are getting that kind of noise, the acoustics, then there are extremes of temperature, I have already told. Solar flares are there, geomagnetic storms, this is what we are going to study about the sun. So these things and all will have effect on environment. So how to, and 0G, you see astronauts and all, they will be floating. That is because of the 0G. So systems which you make here for 1G environment will not work in space. You have to make it for 0G, weightlessness. So all these are the factors which have to be accounted while designing the space systems. So these are the orbits which I have told. Okay, for I think want of time we will not go too deep into this, but for different applications the spacecraft will go to different things. So 500 to 1500 is the low Earth orbit regime, and medium Earth orbit is 8000 to 18,000 kilometers. And the geostationary orbit, the advantage is the satellite, okay, I will not go into the physics of it, but Earth is rotating, the rate is equivalent to the satellite also. There if you give the required velocity, orbital velocity it is called, if you throw with that velocity, the rate at which the Earth is rotating, the satellite also will be rotating at the same rate. So you are always seeing the same place on the Earth. That is very useful for communications. That is what we do. But the disadvantage is you are going 36,000 kilometers away. So from there if you give communication signals, so what you get on ground. So whatever you are seeing, Tata Sky and all are from that kind of distance, the signal is coming. So the signal levels are so small, but it works, okay. So because technologies are there and there are other orbits. Yesterday you heard so much in TV about Lagrangian point. Okay, I just want to emphasize one thing here, and on environment. So it is important for especially youngsters to keep the environment around us clean, okay. So the company with whom we move, that will make or break our life. So the youngsters especially, please ensure your parents when they are scolding you will not be able to, but when you hear from someone outsider, okay, the way you receive it will be different. So I would like to advise all the youngsters, keep your environment nice around you so that you will also gain and your friends also will gain. So this is just to emphasize to you the importance of some of the things. So here this is what you are seeing here is an Antonov aircraft, okay. Yeah, this is an Antonov aircraft in which you can see a metro coach is being transferred. So this is an aircraft actually during recent Ukraine war, 2 of the aircrafts were bombed. Okay, because of that all over the world some launches have to be postponed because spacecrafts have to be transported from their place to the launch site. So you can see here again, so this is there. So the whole, this is a container inside which spacecraft is there, okay. So from there it will be there. These are all cargo aircrafts, and here, okay, our own Indian satellite where I am also there here in the middle, okay. So this was transported to Kourou, that is French Guyana in Brazil, nearby Brazil. So there we have brought, and this is inside of the spacecraft, the last picture at the bottom. So why I am showing you this is, this spacecraft when you transport, we have launched, we have removed our spacecraft and we have put, but Arianespace when they launch, they will put 2 spacecrafts together because it can lift at 10,000 kg, our satellite is 4,000 kg. So another satellite of 6,000 kg they were getting from Japan, but their transport, next day it came, their spacecraft, and they have transported, and when they opened the tarpaulin on that, the cover, they saw that their container is, this is not the container, but their container became like sand hourglass, that kind of shape. So why it happened? Because normally whenever we fly, we are flying in a compartments which are pressurized. That's why they will tell cabin ke pressure mein dabav kam khone se aapka upar aas ke jan mass ka aayega, all that will come. But all those systems will not be there in the cargo aircraft, this one, because idea is to lift more and more weights, correct? You want to transport more load, payload, so that's why they will not be there. Here what happened, when the aircraft takes off and when it lands, there will be a difference in the pressure between outside to the inside. So that pressure difference can cause, even a bottle you take it from a top of a mountain, on the hills you go, and just drop an empty bottle, by putting the cap you down, its shape will change because of the pressure difference from top to bottom. Okay. So then all spacecrafts it should become, why it has become. So it's not that but we provide something called breather valves all around. There will be valves which will be sensing the pressure difference between inside and outside, and they will be gradually opening and closing. Okay. So this gradual opening and closing will allow the pressure to equalize between inside of the container to the outside, because of which, okay. Now here what happened, just before they were transporting, I think it was a military spacecraft or something, so someone told why all this should be done, you cover it with a tarpaulin. It was not original planned. So all breather was over, they covered it with a very tight tarpaulin they have put, and they transported. They should have removed the tarpaulin before loading into the aircraft, but they loaded along with that. Okay. Now what happened, because you have got breather, all that is fine, but you have tightly wrapped, then there is no place to breathe. So the breather valves didn't function, the total container has lost its shape, and inside, to know whether spacecraft inside has got damaged or not, it took 3 days, because first they have to drill holes. While drilling hole, you may damage something inside. So where to drill hole itself, with the computer aided drawings and all you have to take, identify the places where harmlessly you can do some drilling of the holes, then send some very observation, some cameras and all. Finally they decided that the spacecraft has got severely damaged inside. So the impact is, for them they have to go back and come back, they took 2.5 years or 3 years to come back for some thousands of crores satellite. And there is okay, you have done mistake, jaise karni vaise bharni. But here we had to wait, because we have a co-passenger now who is not ready. Now Ariane will not fly just 4,000 kg or a 10,000 kg vehicle. So we have to, till we found a suitable co-passenger, it had to be. So here the thing is, what the bottom line is, devil is in the detail. Pay attention to detail. So for a space program or anything that you want to do, if you want to be successful in whatever you do, the most important is, there is nothing called trivial. There is nothing called a minor detail. Every detail is important. The role of a screw or a nut, we know all, even Lord Karna's chariot has shrunk at that time, because one screw or whatever, I am not exactly able to tell in immediately, but it was removed, the irusu they call. So that has come out slowly, and so it can make you a win or lose a war. Okay. So paying attention to detail is very important. This is true in our real life also. Devil is in the detail. Please pay attention to detail. In whatever you do, this aspect you please remember. Then another important thing is reviews. Whatever products that we make in space, they are all subjected to several reviews. Once I attended a conference on project management council, or not council, project management, this PMI, project management, this one of India. So there I attended, there the time Mukesh Ambani, Ratan Tata, all of them have given lectures. They were all in younger days then, they were younger, much younger. And there one foreign institute professor, he also gave a lecture. There he has shown where a world record in high jump was not broken for 1 or 2 decades. Okay. So after 2 decades or so something, I don't take, you can search, you will find. One person came. Till then high jump means people were jumping like this only. Okay. This fellow came and jumped. Now whatever header we tell, no, you take your head up and then jump. This fellow has tried that technique first time and he has beaten it by few inches. A record which was not broken for a couple of decades was broken. That the punchline is, he says, if you want to reach higher heights, use your head, not your foot. Okay. So the thing is, if one head can make so much difference, if it can beat a world record which is not broken for decades, in a review, there are people, 10 people from different backgrounds. Somebody is there from mission, somebody is there from user side, somebody is there from the design side, somebody is from the ergonomic side. So like that there are different people, all of them are reviewing your design or your product and they give suggestions. So even for yourself, some youngsters I am seeing, if you have to PhD thesis, if you have to submit, till yesterday it is different. Tomorrow when you have to go in front of a review panel, the way you read it is different. When someone is going to review your work, you will ask yourself 100 questions which you have not asked earlier. So youngsters, again I am telling, never get worried if someone else is seeing your product and reviewing it. It is always helpful, and all space programs across the world, they are subjected to see so many reviews. I am not going into the detail. Okay. And now I will come to slowly coming towards Chandrayaan, because space science and planetary exploration. So we know that in India, the first mission was Mars orbiter mission. So it was a unique achievement with many firsts. I will not go into that. Mangalyaan anyway, everybody knows. But among the recognitions, if you see, China has told it as pride of Asia in 2014. We all feel that China means we remember only Galwan. Okay. So that is there. Okay, fine. That is any 2 countries which are sharing a border, it will be there. Even with your own neighbor at your house, you will have some problem. Okay. So that is okay. That part if you leave, the Mars mission could make China say that it is a pride of Asia. Okay. And it was Space Pioneer Award by US National Space Agency. So like this 2000 note, Indian first currency note in recognition of Indian space efforts was 2 rupee note with Aryabhatta satellites. And when Mangalyaan was successful, it has become 2000. So I don't know which company has grown within that much time from 2 rupees to 2000 rupees market cap. Okay. So definitely I think, so that was another beautiful achievement. I will not go into the technical achievements. Those who are interested can always see it. Now I will talk about the Chandrayaan, the Indian quest for moon. Okay. In this, actually history of lunar missions I will tell. There are different types of missions. Flyby. Flyby means just go around that, take some picture as you are flying by. Then orbit. Orbit is going around. Okay. So that is going around. And impact. Go and hit the surface. Okay. And landing. Okay. But that now whole India, I think everybody knows what is landing now. I need not tell. And rover. After landing, whatever Pragyan did, you go around and much in a wider scale. And return mission, sample returns. Take something, dig from there and bring back. And the highest of them is the manned mission. Okay. Because that is the, and amongst all the missions also, the overall world if you take, the success rate is just 60% or 50%. And Soviet Union if you take, they had 20 successful missions to the moon, recent failure you don't count, and have number of lunar firsts. They were the first probe to impact the moon, first flyby and image of lunar far side, and first soft landing, first lunar orbiter, and first probe to return to Earth. So they were all there, but they also, first success came after 5 missions between 58 to 65. 2 out of 20 missions only were successful. Initially when they tried 20 missions, 2 were successful. Of course, we cannot compare directly with us because they were not knowing anything about moon at that time. They had to start from scratch. America, if you take 58 to 65, 7 years they have tried 14 missions, all of them have failed. Okay. All the 14 missions in 7 years have failed, and 66 to 58, 5 out of 7 landing missions were successful. Of course, America has the unique distinction of sending man to the moon. Only America has done, no one else has done. And one interesting tidbit or whatever you call here is, President Nixon, when Neil Armstrong and when they stepped on the moon, he asked his speechwriter, all politicians will have their own speechwriters, they will deliver nicely, okay. So here he asked, in case the mission fails, he has to give a condolence speech instead of having landed, no, success speech. So that also they have kept ready. Success this speech, failure this speech, okay. So this is the type of preparation that you have to do for a space mission. And People's Republic of China, to their credit, 6 out of 6 missions are successful. They have started recently only, okay. And why it is so challenging then? So many missions are there to space. Why lunar becomes so challenging? See, moon is at an average distance of 3,84,400 kilometers from Earth, and you need enormous energy to reach there. And translunar injection to go and settle, otherwise the injection around from Earth's influence, sphere of influence, we have to go to the lunar sphere of influence. To go there and stay and orbit around moon needs a lot of maneuvers and very, very precise performance of the engines and all. If the engine overperforms, it may become a flyby mission. It may just go through the moon and then go into the space forever. It will not be doing the required mission. That is another challenge. And no atmosphere on moon. Many of the people, when they return from space, when you see, they are landing with the help of parachutes. In moon, you cannot make use of parachutes because there is no air. There is no air to help the landing. So you have to depend purely on engines. When you have to do such a precise operation of reducing the speed from few hundreds of kilometers per second to few meters per second, it needs tremendous control of those engines, okay, very precise control. So that is a very difficult thing. And of course, lunar environment and testing under lunar environment, the soil which under the rover is running around. If the soil traction is different, it will be different. You have to exactly simulate. Luckily, somewhere in Nilgiris in Himalayas there, in Tamil Nadu, they have a soil which has similar characteristics. So those landing, and apart from that, we have to select a lot of sensors and all, which need very, very precise calibration, because you have to sense the velocity, you have to sense the acceleration. From kilometers per second to meters per second, it has to sense, and towards end 0.1 meters per second kind of velocity you have to sense, all remotely. So these things, to make those precise sensors is a big challenge, and calibrating them, because a sensor which works for a plain environment may not work if there are craters or if there are mountains, then because signal will get scattered, depending on the principle of operation, it will be different. And landing legs, the legs which you are seeing, it has to be designed for withstanding the law, all those things. And guidance and navigation, this is very important. There is no GPS available in on moon. So it has to go where you are going. So for that, pre-programmed sites and all those pictures are programmed. See, taking that, you have to map it with what is happening on the ground as you are moving at that tremendous velocity. You have to take and try to map and see and land at the accurate place that you want. So that is the amount of software design that is involved. And testing for various failure conditions, that is another tremendous challenge. And mission planning, then power generation, that is another thing, rover design, and most importantly, project management. How do you bring dysfunctional areas, different disciplines all together and make it all the people work together as one team? And how to receive overall, somebody should be having the overall system knowledge. Somebody may be propulsion expert, somebody may be chemical expert, somebody may be electronics expert, somebody may be software expert. But bringing them all together, understanding all these requirements, that needs something called system engineering. So moon missions, anyway, I think I have already told which are all the countries attempted. Orange means they have all failed like that. America is the only country with crewed landing. Now I think at that time, now I have to make India green, sorry. Okay, this presentation was made right. Then Chandrayaan-1, it was launched by PSLV in October and mapped the moon in infrared, visible and X-ray regions. And most importantly, the data received from moon impact probe, that was actually introduction of Dr. Abdul Kalam when he was president. They went to present him the concept. That time he told, why not you introduce the impact? If you are doing some mission, it should have impact. So have an impact probe. So that's why, and it helped in detection of water on the moon. And Chandrayaan-2, about the last minute everybody knows. But there is something which not very well known about Chandrayaan-2 is the orbiter, which is still working and which will work for 5 to 10 years more. It is having the world's best camera for the moon mapping. Countries across the world, if they need some precise pictures of the earth, they depend on Chandrayaan-2 images, including NASA. Okay? So that is the kind of capabilities that Chandrayaan-2 has got, and it is still working. Okay? So notwithstanding the last minute setback with respect to landing, it has got some instruments. That is why Chandrayaan-3, we could afford not to have an orbiter, because you are having a mission which will work for a few more years. Why to waste resources? Whatever mass and all available, you divert it for making Chandrayaan-3 more robust, more failure proof, put more fuel, so that all situations. But as it happens, whenever you take umbrella, it will not rain, correct? You keep umbrella out and you see very nice sun is there, and keep umbrella inside and go, it will rain. So none of the failure logics we have incorporated, need has not come in Chandrayaan-3, okay? That is different thing. And Chandrayaan-2 failure also, it's not due to just one aspect or something. Several things have happened, like Karna in Mahabharata. He says in Telugu there is a poem, he will ask, Arjuna will be very happy that he is able to finally kill Karna. At that time, Krishna tells him, Naravara Niche Nache Varamadingina Kunti Cheta Vasuki Chetan, like that one poem is there. So Karna has not died only due to you, me, the Kunti who has asked Vara to this one, then Indra who told that Nagastra will not work at the time when you need. Like that, there are 7 people for Karna's death. Like that, several space programs, what happens? There will be multiple reasons. Unfortunately, when all of them happen together, that is when the mission will fail. Chandrayaan-2 also, that's what has happened. Now, this is the mood generally when you have a failure. This was not the time of Chandrayaan, okay? This was much, much before, when one of our launch vehicles, they used to call SLV, means sea-loving vehicle, because they used to fail initially our vehicles. Then came ASLV, another sea-loving vehicle. PSLV, when they did, people used to mock, even drivers used to tell us, permanently sea-loving vehicle, like that. From there, today, India has got Bahubali. All of us are proud about our launch vehicle family. So never get deterred. If you see the person in the red shirt here, you can all recognize, current chairman of ISRO. At that time, he was very young. So it was maybe first failure of the launch vehicle. So do you get a failure to allow you to getting depressed? At that moment, it is human to get depressed, okay? Forget what hurt you, but never forget what it taught you, okay? So you learn from your failures. Learn from the failures and try to go ahead. Kadam kadam badhate ja. You have to keep moving. Never get deterred, don't see back. This is a problem in our houses also, no? All the time we will be remembering old things, and whole house atmosphere will go bad, because we always remember old memories, not sweet ones. It's normal for a human being to remember bitter things only, okay? But if you overcome that trait, at least a younger generation, definitely it will help you. And Chandrayaan-3. So of course, now the TV has covered it so much. There is nothing actually, many of the, sometimes actually in Kolkata I was there before launch for giving a lecture only at Bharatiya Samskriti Samsid. There when I was going, a helper who has come to pick me, attender, he has got equivalent knowledge like me, I can tell. That is the power of media, who can make you learn anything. So I really, at least in this particular case, okay, they have really done wonderful things. Of course, too much hype also is not good. But okay, on the whole, at least after the cricket match, which united India, okay, is the Chandrayaan, okay. So definitely we all came together. So that is one of the other things and all, I think. And future, we are having, okay, I can't quote ISRO because now I retired. So future, at least from internet and all, if you see also, there is a LoopX mission where lunar polar exploration. Actually, Naresh was asking me, how this mission is limited to 14 days, why you are, then why? That is because in the sun, in the moon, it is like you have half day earth days, half day night and half day this one. Same way 14 days is equal to 14 days of earth days is equal to 1 lunar day. So afterwards it becomes night and things become very cold, okay. And there is no energy to, because solar panels will not work, there is no sun. So that is the problem. You can overcome it by using radioisotopes, and energy is produced from there. So that is taken to heat and keep this warm during the 14 days, RTGs. So radioisotopes. So how much time I have? Yeah, 5 minutes. So using that we can always extend, okay. So, I have shown you a picture of despair, correct? But when you Chandrayaan 2 failure, we were not deterred. With that picture has shown, okay, some other picture, but from that mode, if you continue to work, this the whole country has celebrated, correct? You can see. So, from there we have reached this stage today because we are not deterred by our failures. And of course, this I will skip, otherwise I thought because many CEOs and all like that have said. But now there is a lot of focus on the space ecosystem to change. So far ISRO is synonymous with space, but future of India is not going to be ISRO. Indian space is going to be private sector because you want to grow the industry. Now Indian total world market is $350 billion in space, out of which Indian share is 2%. The government wants to make it higher and higher. That is where in government there will be limitations. Definitely if you rope in private sector, you will be able to get better. So this is why there are so much of structural changes are done. Space policy, new policy is brought. So all this is happening, just to those who are interested. And of course, several places where I go, I face this question. What is it that makes ISRO? As I told, once again I am telling, it's not just ISRO, there are several government departments, even India's railways, postal department, you just wonder. Indian railways is a wonderful thing. The IRCTC reservation system, is it a joke? How many trains, how many people, you cancel anything, again immediately somebody else will get, RAC will move, and that way the trains come. So it's a wonderful system, but so I am not saying ISRO is the only performing department. At the same time, what is the culture in ISRO? Because I face to face, we can do it spirit. When an assignment is given to you, we will never say, sir, it's difficult, okay. First, and celebrate each other's success. This is one thing, now okay, we are also evolving as a country. This is one thing, you should never be jealous of others and rise to the occasion, not deterred by setbacks or failures. Openness. A person who joined yesterday can ask a question today in a review to Chairman ISRO, okay. So that is the type of no hierarchy, openness and excellent review system, committee mode of working, teamwork and personal sacrifice, of course. It is required and we need support of our families, without that it is just not possible, and harnessing and feeling that we are a family. So all said and done, we need not too much feel proud also. We have to be proud, at the same time need not go too much, because not anybody else. Sir Isaac Newton, whom I consider the most knowledgeable or scientist who has contributed to the world's progress today, what we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean, okay. So there is an ocean to explore. What we know, complete world discovery put together is just a drop, okay. So the universe is so high, that's why Americans have launched this James Webb telescope. It sees some millions of light years away, 135 crore years back, origin of things and all. Now they have updating because of the, so they are done. As I told, it is 1 lakh crores. This project is 1 lakh crores and they have launched it successfully. So and it found, this is one picture of that. In the middle you can see a question mark. So the universe is questioning us, okay, who am I? So this is a recent image of James Webb telescope. And finally, towards conclusion, though we have come a long way, we still believe space will not forgive you if you make mistakes, okay. So we should not be doing mistakes. It is true for daily life also, okay. And I will end up with so many people wonder in technical presentation, what is this line? So for our new inductees, some 30 years back or so, when I was trying to give a lecture, I knew how to start, how to end I was thinking. That time my son was singing in bathroom. Oh mummy, please give me some vegetable soup to make me grow strong from my head to my toe. C for carrot, B for beetroot, T for tomato too, to make me grow strong from my head to my toe. P for peas, B for beans, P for potato too, cook them all together and make me some soup. Make it yummy, make it tasty, make it delicious too. I will drink it up all to the very last drop. So you may be wondering, what is this? So if you see, there is a customer here, the child. There is a supplier, the mummy. There is a product, the soup. It has got some functional specifications, yummy, tasty and delicious. And whatever list of, you cannot bring binjal and do. Customer has specified. So in the space also there is something called qualified parts list, declared material list, preferred parts list, or what is that, qualified process list. Like that, he is telling the things, what are the materials you have to use, what are the parts you have to use, what is the process, cook them all together. You cannot cook them separately. And there is finally comes, my dear friends, the most important requirement, the reliability. As a spacecraft, the theoretical life is decided by the amount of fuel in the spacecraft. Okay? So, we want our spacecrafts to work till the last drop of fuel is there, and that can happen only when all the systems work. It is true to all of us. Whatever field is yours, try to serve your customer. Okay? Meet the customer's expectations till the last day of, not just at the time of release of the product, till the product is the end, whatever, if a banking software, if you have released, if it has to work for 15 years, if you have told, till then without bugs. So, like that I can extend, but time is limited. But I want everyone to inculcate the culture that whatever I do, I have to do perfectly, till the last drop is there, it should work. With that kind of spirit, if every Indian works, I have no doubt that whatever Vishwaguru and all we are talking about will become the real walk the talk. Okay? Thank you all.